Behind the cage. Dash to his right and wraps it around to the goal. Bobo, O'Reilly, over the top. Roy ready. Shot and score. It's around Weed. Off the bounce. Shot and a score. Wow. Levine with some speed. Levine fakes a pass. Levine all the way is going to fire and score. Up top, Druin. He wants a shot and he's got it. Wow. Meanwhile, Arbusto. One-handed shot is up and in. With an extra man. Bouvier sniping top corner. Sophomore goes back to it. Etso turns and scores. Now inside of 4 minutes. Who's the man? Spellman's the man. That's who. Clark on the run. Shot and score. Meanwhile, Durkin to the cage. Shot and score. Chase. Extra feed. Shot and score. Game over. Well, hello everyone, and welcome here to Exeter. Nick and Astis, Roger Howe with you. It's our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance. Two of the better teams in Division 1. Coming down the stretch, jockeying for playoff positioning with the tournament right around the corner. This one also a rematch from opening day, a shootout over in Londonderry. Won by Exeter by a final of 17-11. That was back on April the 11th. Since then, a whole lot has changed. Both teams have had their ups and downs. Exeter a 5-0 start before they drop 4 of their next 5. They lose some key stars due to injuries in that process, but have rebounded as of late. A big road win on Monday, the last time out, 8-7 over Bedford. They're also getting healthier. As we know, senior Gavin Lechner returning from a head injury recently, and he is back and playing well for Coach Brewster. And, of course, on the other side for Londonderry, they've been below the 500 mark most of the year under first-year head coach Dave Wiedenfeld, but have played some of their best lacrosse as of late. They come in winners of 3 straight, including a big win over Division II Portsmouth. They knocked off the 2-time champ back on Monday by the score of 8-5 to hand the Clippers their first loss of the season. It is also senior day here in Exeter. And Roger, this large group, this talented group of seniors for Exeter are going to join their friends and family down on the field here momentarily to celebrate what's been a great career for these kids.
Yes, indeed. And welcome to Bill Ball Stadium. It seems like we've just set up shop here for the season, the way things have been going, you know. But, yes, senior night's always a very special night for any athlete in any sport. Just can reflect on my own having the opportunity to do that a few times with 2 sons and playing football and lacrosse. But, we have a good game here tonight. Londonderry is one of those teams that seems to have morphed back and forth. It's hard to pin the quality of the team that we look at here. They have a very short roster, but where they scrapped and clawed in the Bedford game, and then in the Pinkerton game when Pinkerton finally turned it on there in that game, and then they come around and they beat Portsmouth 8-5 on their turf, on Portsmouth's turf. I do have some little nuggets of information about what went on in that game from Coach Wiedenfeld and what they did, and I expect to see a little bit more of that tonight, the way they play Exeter here. Yeah, they've looked good at times, again, as of late, have played perhaps some of their best lacrosse, a 3-game win streak. That includes a blowout win on the road at Nashua North. We mentioned the Portsmouth battle. Their last time out, they faced Memorial/Central/West, a.k.a. the Manchester Kings. But we saw them about a week ago at maybe what's been the low point of the season, their 4th straight loss at that point against Pinkerton, a 13-2 final in favor of the Astros. But Coach Wiedenfeld, young guy himself, of course, an alumni of the school and a great standout player at both Keene State and Southern New Hampshire, doesn't need a whole lot of time to rebound, apparently, as they came back with that big blowout win over North just a couple of days later. I think he's got things set right with this team going into the playoffs. Right now they stand in the 7th spot or 6th spot, which is kind of where they've been all season. They've been in that 6, 7, 8 spot, but mostly in the 6th spot here the last few weeks. But when you come off, those last 2 wins in a really tough loss against Bedford, the game before the Pinkerton game, this team is really heading in the right direction, and it certainly starts in the goal. Yeah, certainly starts in the goal.
And of course, the Exeter seniors lined up shoulder to shoulder here along the near sideline in front of this growing crowd. I understand there's an academic ceremony over at the high school as well involving one of the Exeter players, but still a sizable senior class. Roger, the latest soon-to-be graduates from a program that really has blossomed at all levels over the last few seasons. Coach Brewster, of course, took over for longtime head coach Jerry Hawley and never really looked back. He's had the Blue Hawks in each of the last 2 state championship games, and hoping that this group can maybe get over the hump, so to speak, and bring home the hardware.
For sure. And to see that many seniors out there on the field can sometimes be a scary thought, to think about what you're going to be losing out there. Right. There's 11 or 12 of them as it stands. I think, as you said, one of them is missing. But, it seems like every season, though, much like some of the other programs out there, Exeter always has the guns to reload. I can attest to that just in the fact, talking to my son, Brandon, who's coaching the JVs with Coach Ketchum. They've got some really good talent even at the JV level right now. So I think they'll be able to fill those holes in. The biggest thing Exeter's had to deal with this year, obviously, has been the injuries. And although Gavin is back, I see Owen Williams out on the field practicing. walking, throwing around. He's not dressed. He's in civvies today. But it doesn't seem that the hand injury, whatever that specifically was, is not bothering him, and he's able to throw and catch. So what I hear through the grapevine is that he's just waiting on a medical clearance to get back in the game.
Well, Exeter continuing to go here through the Senior Day ceremonies. Londonderry trying to take advantage of the extra warm-up time. They're running drills over here to our left in the shade here at Bill Ball Stadium. We are expecting an opening face-off about 6:45 Eastern or so, maybe 7 minutes or so from now. And this crowd continuing to file in. It includes a large student section to our right. And usually around this time of year, Roger, the crowds typically get bigger and bigger statewide as the weather gets nicer here. Temperatures today hovering around 70 degrees, still pretty warm out. Great night for a lacrosse game.
Always.
We saw, of course, the Exeter baseball team in action just down the road.
Yeah.
On the drive in, so a full day of activities here at Exeter High.
And something going on the far field and the track field, and always seems to be some sort of activity going on here.
Both teams, Roger, coming down the stretch. Exeter has 3 opponents remaining. Londonderry has 2. Blue Hawks will face out-of-state Melrose on Saturday in a matinee affair at 11. And then next week, statewide, is the final week of the regular season, at least on the boys' side, where Exeter will be at South on the 22nd and then hosting Merrimack 2 days later. Londonderry, meanwhile, they've got Salem coming up Monday, and then they close out the campaign at Bedford. Again, Exeter at 9-5 officially, Londonderry at 7-6. So, Roger, what does a win mean for each of these clubs here as we are really down to the tail end of the regular season schedule?
Well, I think no matter what, you really would like to be in that first, second, or third slot going into the playoffs, because you're obviously playing the 3 weaker teams in the division. And you know, when you start looking at where Exeter is in that 4th slot, you know, a couple of wins for them, next 3 wins would put them at 12-5 as far as the points go. You know, puts them more than likely right in that 3rd spot, but you got Pinkerton in front of you, and Pinkerton's schedule, they have played most of their schedule already. I think they only have 2 games left. Let's see, they've got Girton tonight, so after tonight they've got 2 more games, Bedford and Nashua North. The Bedford game could be a tough game for both Londonderry and for Pinkerton. So maybe Bedford has the leverage here that if they were to pull out 2 wins, it could really disrupt that Pinkerton, Exeter, Bedford part of the standings.
Yeah.
It could be a flip-flop for who's going to be 1 through 4. Merrimack, who is just hanging in there. They're not playing as tough a schedule as the other teams that are in the mix with them. But they have Bedford, Exeter, Nashua North. So watch them to be a spoiler maybe, but I would predict that they probably only come out of the next 3 games with 1 win, which would put them down into that 4th or 5th slot. All
right, Senior Day, the festivities just about concluding down on the field, which means we are fast approaching game time here in Exeter. Coming up, opening face-off, Londonderry looking to stay hot, Exeter hoping to defend their home turf on a special occasion. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com. The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
At Dead River Company, the work we do is about more than just filling up tanks. It's about the everyday moments in your home. We're here to fix your heating equipment, so you have heat and hot water for moments like this. We brave the elements, so you're always safe and warm. Anytime, day or night. Because it's moments like this that we do everything we do.
Dead River Company. It's not your job to worry about the heat. It's ours.
Become a customer today, and we'll be there for the moments that matter to you.
Great job, Serena and Grace. Serena Taylor and Grace Martin.
Well, there are Exeter students Serena Taylor and Grace Martin giving us a live rendition of the national anthem here at Bill Ball Stadium in Exeter. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you, approaching sundown on the East Coast. These two teams approaching playoff mode with a little over a week remaining in the regular season. Exeter, of course, the big goal is to get back to the state championship game for a third straight season. In short term, they would like to make it 4 of their last 5 with a win today on Senior Day. And, of course, Londonderry looking to keep it rolling above 500 at 7-6. They've won 3 straight.
Yeah, and I would agree with you there that Exeter really needs to kind of get ahead of steam behind them to get down to that last game of the year. Not that they're not talented, but they've had a little bit of a lull in recent days or recent games. And we talked about this on the last broadcast. They're heading in the right direction health-wise, too.
Had a bit of a setback Saturday against an out-of-state opponent, a very good out-of-state opponent in Acton-Boxborough. That was an 18-7 loss, but again, outside of that, they won 3 straight in-state against the Manchester Kings at Salem, and a squeaker back on Monday at Bedford. All right, temperatures still hovering in the mid-60s, looking pretty good outside. Sun is out here, a little bit of a breeze. 2 veteran officials, Roger, down on the field as usual.
Two of the best in the state, been around a long time. I hear through the channels I have with the referees and the officials that this might actually be Vinny Peroni's last year. He's been doing it for a long, long time. He is on the wellness staff at Central High School, been there for a long time. But Vinnie Peroni and Kerry Whitten, the officials tonight, two of the best in the state.
Yeah.
And I think I'd be stepping out of bounds here maybe, but I think Vinnie is probably the longest tenured official out there.
So we're in good hands tonight.
We're in good hands tonight,
For sure.
Yeah.
Turf field, as we know, shadows growing long, even as we speak. As the sun begins to dip below the tree line, we've got a sizable crowd, as expected. And again, this senior class honored down on the field prior to the game, along with mom and dad. All right, Exeter and their home whites meeting with the officials. And, of course, Londonderry in their home road blues. And, Roger, you mentioned goaltending. As it always does, is typically an important part of a game of this caliber. But these two goaltenders have really gotten seemingly better as the season has gone on.
Yes, indeed. And I talked to my son Matthew, who we've talked about many times. He's a lifelong goalie, played in college and all that stuff, in coaching at Bedford. And he said this verbatim last night. Colby Walden is the best goalie in the state. Over Michaud, over Burnich, over Connerty. So that's
quite a statement.
That's quite a statement. And, the kid's only a sophomore.
Right.
So he's got nowhere to go but up.
A lot of respect.
For
the youngster. Meanwhile, Ethan Burnich been doing this a while as well. Split time for a little while with Ryan Tapman. Before the Tapman injury forced him into the cage full time. But he's no stranger to the big game. And still with a year to go before he graduates next spring. We're underway here at Bill Ball Stadium. This one was kicked initially up the field. Now it's still up for grabs before finally Nick Sullivan's able to scoop it up. He's going to fire a shot on the run to his right. End up wide, but gets a little bit of a rise out of the home sideline in the process. Here is Gavin Lechner. Saw him take a vicious hit in the win on this field about a month ago against Bedford. Missed several weeks, but is back and is playing well and is one to watch for sure here tonight, number 8 in white. Meanwhile, this is Marshall Lazowitz. Short pass taken here in the near corner. And now Lechner aggressively. Middle shot score. Able to beat Waldron to his right. Kept it low. And he's going to score this one knee high to make it 1-0 home team less than a minute in.
It's going to be a long night for the Lancers if they can't stop him past the goal line extended area and getting into the front of the crease. That is, he's a big body, and he needs to be slid too early, and that's just a wide open shot from about 10 feet or 10 yards. That is.
Meanwhile, off the face-off, Londonderry's going to win this one. It's the long stick senior, Nick Kasakis, who avoids two defender. Pass, though, dropped, and the ground ball goes to Exeter. Jack Herring, the midfielder, on the spot there. Herring going to clear it. And the Exeter offense looks to attack here. Sullivan will retreat, look over his right shoulder at Coach Brewster. And the Blue Hawks look to nurse this 1-0 lead. Sullivan wants a one-on-one. The defender for the Lancers is John Padles, one of their better defenders. Shot on the run there. Redirected. Scooped up on the wing. And Exeter will keep it at this end. That's Tapman, by the way. We mentioned he's been in and out of the lineup and has played multiple positions over the years, including goaltender. He's here on the offense. Looking for a pass middle. It's low. It pops up in the air. The long pole juggling for Londonderry is Anthony Braithwaite, the freshman. Could not quite reel it in, and now it's Lechner, the senior, back in control for Exeter. Picked up on the switch by Cam Brutus, one of their more physical defenders, the junior. Pass over across the zone, broke it up, and Waldron's going to end up with it for Londonderry. Going to retreat behind his own cage. A little pressure from Lechner forces him to get rid of it. Pass taken in the middle by one of the co-captains, Dylan Risley.
Nice clear.
Lancers get it done. They get the stop they were looking for, and now have their sights set on trying to even this one up here with 2.5 gone by.
Yeah, I would think Coach Brewster would have wanted Gavin to take that shot rather than pass it inside to a guy that was pretty well covered. That's his spot down there.
This is James McPhail trying to get out of a jam. Pretty good defense. Sean DeLello The junior midfielder with him step for step. Exeter trying to force the action out of the middle, and they'll do so successfully as Londonderry is going to reset. McPhail trying to get some steam, going to fire on the run. Not going to happen. Burnich able to read that one the entire way, and now the junior taking his time here, going to walk out of the net.
Yeah, we've seen McPhail, or I've seen him several times this year, but he's a better right-handed shooter than a lefty, and you can tell by the way that shot came off his stick. Not one of the strongest shots left-handed.
That was Gabe Albert getting a little bit of trouble there. The senior bailed out by a sophomore teammate, Lazowitz. This shot is high, wide. And what are they going to say? It was an errant pass out of bounds?
It was.
Thought it was a shot. Instead, the pass technically results in a turnover as Londonderry will take over. Nearly 4 minutes in. Lancers trailing here 1-0 and now dealing with a Exeter ride. This is Brutus. Going to show the speed along the near sideline. Escapes a hacking Tatman. Going to change up direction here in front of his bench. Exeter trying to chase all over the field. Brutus has got the step.
Nice
draws
pass.
A slide. Shot and score. It's finished off by Benjamin Pedicula, the senior. Pass on the money. Pedicula does the rest, and we're tied here at 1.
Hey, it's always nice to see a long pole get an assist. Brutus worked hard for that. He's going to be locked on Gavin Lechner all night, so he could end up very tired by the end of the night. So good for him to get in there and get a good play done and help his team get this game tied.
Londonderry goal, number 3, Ben Pedicula.
So Pedicula able to tie it here at 1. Exeter, meanwhile, is going to win their second faceoff. As that's Will McGilroy, sophomore Fogo, who wins his own battle. Lechner going to draw a second defender. Albert will cycle it back to the top as the Blue Hawks look to retake the lead here. Well, we saw Albert, Roger, one of those players who stepped up in the absence of his injured teammates and has really become a legitimate threat here as a senior. We expect perhaps big things again from him tonight. Meanwhile, Lazowitz, a deep one. Not going to happen off the bounce as Waldron gets to it. The outlet on the run is too strong, and it's turned over on the bounce.
Yeah, Albert is that Swiss Army knife we talk about.
Lechner gets around Brutus and then beats Waldron low for goal number 2. Well, Lechner, at times looking like a man amongst boys. He's got a height advantage, as you can tell, and he's got a pretty good speed advantage as well, as we see him there outdo Brutus and then beat one of the state's better goaltenders low.
Yeah, they're going to have to start sliding early to Lechner because clearly the height and weight advantage that he has over Brutus is not working, at least so far.
Face-off still up for grabs, a lengthy ground ball. Thought the Fogo had it for a moment, but McIlroy couldn't quite control it with one arm. Trying to stay in bounds meanwhile is Risley, and I believe we have a timeout called by Coach Wiedenfeld. So Londonderry is going to keep possession as Risley gets his props on the Lancer sideline. 2-1 Exeter here as we approach the midway point. First quarter. Our broadcast tonight is brought to you by Beals Insurance. Locations in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Visit BealsInsurance.com. By MG Sports Fundraising. That's fundraising made easy. MG Sports Fundraising is the official fundraising partner of Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com and start raising money for your team today. By New Hampshire iPhone Repair. It's done while you wait, and it's backed by their lifetime warranty. Now with 6 locations in southern New Hampshire and on the Seacoast, visit NHiPhoneRepair.com. By the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NHTomahawks.com and also girls.NHTomahawks.com. And finally, by Spectrum Monthly, powerful local advertising solutions. Find out more at SpectrumMonthly.com. And of course, Almost forgot. Roger Howe Real Estate, part of the Bean Group. Email Roger at rhowerealestate.com, or call 603-247-1583. Nick and Astis with Roger Howe here. 2-1 Exeter as we approach the midway point of this first quarter. Londonderry with possession coming out of the timeout, hoping to even the score at 2 apiece.
So let's go back to that quick comment about Gabe Albert and the fact that he had filled in at attack, and now he's back on that first line again with Marshall Lazowitz and, oh gosh, I keep forgetting his name, but Delory was the other starting attackman, and you got Tatman filling in for him now. So he's really had to move a lot of parts around to keep the roster full.
And well, this is Brandon Robbins showing the step on the far side, but not going to happen. That one dug out by Burnich out of the netting behind the cage. And now Exeter trying to clear against a very formidable Lancer ride. They're going to do it with a short pass to the far side. There's Sean DeLello. Finally gets rid of it, sets up Sullivan with a screen. Pass backdoor, picked up off the bounce. Shot knocked down, and then Waldron makes the save from his knees. Well, the sophomore may have bailed his team out there. Pretty good move by Sullivan out in front, but the gate shut at the last minute to keep this a one-goal difference.
Yeah, strangely enough, when we saw that score Monday, the 8-5 score, I think one of the comments we all made was, man, Colby must have stood on his head in that game against Portsmouth, and I hear that he had done just that.
8-5 the final. The lost the first for the Clippers. They were the last unbeaten team to catch an L. And, of course, as the two-time Division II champions, it was considered an upset for D1 Londonderry to win that game on Monday.
Yeah. There was a couple other tidbits we'll pass on about that game and how Londonderry fared in that and how they battled, Portsmouth's Amend and Nick Smith and others. So there's some good info there.
Big win for the program. And the Lancers, of course, able to string together now 3 straight, hoping to keep it going here with what would be, again, widely considered an upset here on the road at Exeter.
So there's a aforementioned Delory playing midfield now with that loss of Owen Williams on that first midfield line for Exeter.
And Williams with a hand injury expected back perhaps as early as next week. Coming up at 4 minutes, meanwhile, remaining here in this first quarter. Lechner has been busy with both Exeter goals. He went wide on that previous shot. Here's a pass
nice
for
play.
Albert and a beautiful finish. How about the vision there from Lechner? Able to cover some ground with that pass. Of course, it's on the money. And Albert, pretty good near the cage as well. Going to finish that one to make it 3-1.
Well, I got to tell you, from the start of this game and the 2 errant passes that Exeter has made into the crease area, trying to find a crease guy that's freed up, has not been successful. This is the first time this season I have seen that look where Gavin inverts, comes up to the top of the midfield, and then looks down low for the other midfielder. So that's a new look. He usually is dodging from behind on his side, and this may be a weapon that they can use going into the playoffs.
Meanwhile, this is McPhail going to swim through a sea of white. Avoided, it looked like 4 different Blue Hawk defenders, but then the pass is too strong, trying to hook up with Pedicula along that far sideline. They run out of real estate and turn it over. So they win the ground ball and then give it back to Exeter here as the Blue Hawks look to build on this 3-1 edge. No problem on the clear for Herring.
We're seeing a lot more of that down-low midfielder, fleet-of-foot midfielder. We've seen it tonight with Exeter. We see it all the time at BG. We saw it with Bedford, with Zach Griffin, among others, on the Bulldogs. The coaches seem to want to get the ball over and get going on offense and just let their defense come up the field and kind of block off the ride that's coming at them if they're doing a deep zone ride.
Lechner going to draw the slide. There's Delory, plenty of room. Near side, Lazowitz trying to shake and bake. McPhail right with him. Slide comes over. They force him back on the wing. And they'll hit the reset button here as we hit the 3-minute mark first quarter. Blue Hawks with the lead, 3-1. Exeter looking for their 4th win in their last 5 games. Would also be win number 10 on the season. Lazowitz trying to shake off McPhail. They'll work it to Sullivan. Quick pass taken for Delory. Albert going to curl, going to reverse to his right, going to fire, and that one wide by about a foot or so. Backed up by Sullivan. It'll stay at this end.
Yeah, came off that dodge just a little off balance, and thus the shot.
Meanwhile, looks like we had a snapped stick. It was just chased down by one of the Exeter assistants, so we're ready to go. Oh. Albert with a bouncer. That one looked a little funky coming out of the stick.
Unintentional.
And it's turned over to Londonderry. Will be cleared by Londonderry without a challenge, and now Padicula trying to come to the middle. Chance to cut the lead in half. Picked up on the switch by Ryan Garrity, one of the sophomore co-captains.
Good kid. Good kid. Got a good game.
He's matched up with Padicula here in the middle of the field. Lancer's going to work the clock inside at 2 minutes, and Pedrick ran into trouble from behind. Good play there by the long pole Tanner Smith, the junior. Going to rifle a long pass to the opposite side of the field, trying to free up his teammate Sean DeLello, but a good defensive play forces the giveaway. And then the long pole lost it. That was Risley, never quite had it. Sullivan, Risley hacks at him from behind. Lechner picks it up, goes back door, and there's the finish by Ryan Tapman. The converted goalie going to finish against Colby Waldron on that weak side to make it 4-1 Exeter.
Well, how about that?
Another assist for Lechner. And Exeter coming up with some pretty plays here in this first quarter.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I would have if I wonder what the odds out of Vegas were on Tapman scoring a goal tonight.
Well, he's, as we know, multi-talented, and is seemingly, at least based on these early results tonight, is fit right in on that end of the field.
For sure.
Another face-off win, or did I speak too soon? I did. It's a violation against Exeter. McIlroy a little early. 3-3 right now, Roger, right?
Yes, indeed.
At the X.
With one violation on Exeter.
So Londonderry giving up 3 straight and trail here by 3 for the first time, 4-1 as we approach the final minute. Meanwhile, Robbins right down the middle, shot set aside by Burnich. Ground ball stays with Padicula, and Londonderry will reset. Well, Burnich may have saved that one with his bicep. And a turnover. Londonderry's Sam Melia lost it. Taken away by Albert. Lechner going to go put his head down, go right to the cage.
Save.
Tried to go upstairs, but Waldron was waiting. Long outlet from Brutus is going to free it up Heward. And now we've got 35 seconds remaining. Heward, foot on the gas. Poke loose from behind. Ball squirts towards the end line behind the cage. Picked up by Padicula. Makes his move middle. Fires high. And then Burnich with a heads-up play from the cage is going to ensure the Exeter possession.
Yeah, there was a guy in the crease here. I don't know why the whistle didn't blow. He was blatantly in the crease, but here we go. It doesn't matter.
Exeter's got it either way, and we're down to 15 seconds. Blue Hawks trying to take advantage of the time remaining. We got a man open in the middle. It's Tapman, and there's number 2. He's going to score with less than 8 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. Seemingly, Roger, a breakdown defensively there by the Lancers. Exeter takes advantage with another backdoor look. And Tapman's got goal number 2.
Yeah, it's all about getting back on the clear. And Exeter clears it quickly, gets it up, and finds the open guys. The defense is not moving and rotating well for the Lancers right now. And they got to figure that out because they know where the key players are. And they're a big double pole team, and they need to start thinking about maybe going to that mode.
Londonderry is going to win the face-off, but look out. Braithwaite, the youngster, went flying, and that is going to bring us to the end of this first quarter. We had a 1-1 tie in the opening minutes. And then Exeter reeled off 4 in a row to take a 5-1 lead into the second quarter here on Senior Day. Back in a moment as Londonderry looks to respond when we return. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Start of the second quarter here in Exeter. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. It's our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance. Blue Hawks put together 4 straight to close out the frame, including 2 in the final 2 minutes from Ryan Tapman. And on Senior Day, Exeter, in search of their 10th win of the season, off to a good start here against Londonderry. Lancers looking to respond here before halftime as they search for their 4th straight win. Both teams, of course, jockeying for position in the Division I standings, with the state tournament less than now 2 weeks away.
Yeah, wow. Season went by fast.
Always does.
Does.
Meanwhile, Lancers surgical here up until now. The pass gets away from its intended target. Pedicula can't quite reel it in. Ball still in play along the sideline. Pedicula going to keep it inbounds by swiping at it. And then finally, it's Exeter's Tanner Smith who does get to it, but turns it over. McPhail kind of blindly throws it back towards the crease. And ultimately, Burnich is going to bring some order to the situation for Exeter. Now the Blue Hawks look to work on the clear.
I think the Lancer attack needs to get a couple of cans of Red Bull going. They need a little more enthusiasm and get up and go. That was a very lackadaisical possession right there.
Exeter looking to make them pay on the other end. Lechner, back door. He's got the pole. Trying to keep it in play as Smith runs out of room as a wave of blue come over to force the turnover. Pass up the sideline for the clear, and now it's Londonderry looking to push the issue. Pedicula was calling for it. Instead, it's going to be shot and scored by Nate Pedrick. The senior on his way to Southern New Hampshire. Going to show you how it's done there. Takes advantage of the open space. The Lancers end the 4-0 Exeter run and are back in this one now at a score of 5-2.
Well, duplicate what I just said about the Lancers' attack, because this was a very lackadaisical effort on the Exeter Blue Hawks defender, Harry Caracciolo. He just really just tried to stick check him, and he just walked right by him. Good for Pedrick.
Pedrick, one of those multi-sport athletes at Londonderry, big part of that football program that has had so much success over the last several seasons. Scores the goal here. The second one for Londonderry. They win another face-off, but they'll turn it over. Again, the ball seemingly betrays Pedicula there as it slips out of his stick. Herring going to have no problem on the clear. He's going to come right down the middle, fire a high pass that's off target. Lechner trying to scramble in the corner but can't get to it. It's turned over the other way.
Yeah, just kind of lackadaisical play on both sides right now. Just kind of very lazy play. That was a rotation from the Lancers defense that looked really good, and it was just thrown away.
Risley, sharp pass up the sideline. Taken in by Robbins, gets around Garrity, and then stripped by Garrity from behind. Taken on the one hop, though, by Pedicula and kept here for the Lancers. 3 minutes in, second quarter. Londonderry trying to get back within 2. Pedrick jammed up on the release. Pedicula on the side, goes off the pole. Good opportunity there, but an inch or so off the mark. Robbins does get to it deep on the near wing, and Londonderry will have another crack here. Still trailing 5-2. It was Exeter got on the board first. Gavin Lechner, less than a minute in, made it 1-0 home team. Londonderry with a quick response. About 3 minutes later from Benjamin Pedicula. 1-1 at that point, about midway through the period. Then 4 in a row for Exeter. Lechner second. Gabe Albert made it 3-1. And then 2 from Ryan Tapman late, 5-1 after 1. Our score in a moment ago, of course, Londonderry. They get their second from Nathan Pedrick. And here we are at 5-2. Meanwhile, ball on the turf. Herring's got another ground ball. Pretty good stick there defensively by Tyler Bland, the sophomore midi, who forces the issue, and now Exeter is going to come the other way.
Yeah, Tyler played some first-line midi and attack during that injury stint with Gavin Lechner as well.
As you mentioned, Coach Brewster had to experiment a bit.
Ooh.
Tapman knocked down on the catch, ball out. Waldron has it. Rainbow pass is out of bounds.
You don't see that too often out of Colby. He usually is pretty poised and patient. And he threw that right from the crease. So he saw the guy, he just made a bad pass.
Trying to find Aiden Heward, but that one just drifted on him.
Yeah. Happens.
So Exeter, chance to equal their largest mark from earlier, trying to go up 4 here.
Now, Londonderry had a really good patient possession there before they lost the ball. Ooh.
Lazowitz going to line that one up and score at top shelf. Over the right shoulder of Waldron, who looks upset. Lazowitz, given the room, takes advantage. He's got his name in the scorer's book, and it's 6-2 Exeter.
Yeah, and he had a very good game the other night against Bedford. Bedford actually was leading that game in the fourth quarter at the very end of the game, 7-6. And Lazowitz, I think he had at least 2 goals in that game. But he has found his own out there on that first-line midfield.
Of course, got a lot of time last year as a freshman on that talented team that made a run to the state championship game.
Yeah.
And has played well, as you mentioned, yet again as a sophomore.
Yeah, bright future. A couple more years in the bag here for him.
5 minutes in, second quarter. Exeter lead is 4. It's 6-2, their largest. Londonderry going to space it out here. Roger, what do you see?
I see a very patient, let's not give them the ball back because they can't score if we have it offense. I really don't see a lot of structure out there except they're in a circle. Not a lot of movement.
McPhail going to face the shot. Tried the split dodge, got jammed up, and then pushed down by Merrill, and 2 flags are going to fly.
Yeah.
This may be the game's first penalty.
I think it might be Jack Herring.
Either Herring, I think Garrity was in the area as well.
That's going to be Garrity.
Officials have let them play for the most part, but again, it'll be Garrity on his way to the box here with the game's first penalty. So Exeter going to be shorthanded. Londonderry, golden opportunity here with the extra man opportunity as we approach the midway point second quarter.
And I have noticed with Londonderry's EMO set that they don't move. There's not a lot of movement. And with 30 seconds, you can't do this. You can't just stand in a circle. You've got to have movement right from the very first or second pass and get into it. And they're just wasting time. They're killing the clock here. Now you get movement, but way outside.
Shot
easy.
Denied from 16 yards out. Pedrick looking for his second low. Burnich up to the challenge, and now the Blue Hawks look to clear. DeLello going to do it himself. He'll weave his way down that far sideline. Nicely done. Lechner going to take over. The senior star with 2 goals, 2 assists in this first half. And that's been the matchup to watch. Londonderry's long pole Cam Brutus against the preseason offensive player of the year. According to some publications, our friend Joe Marshallane of nh-highschoolsports.com. Here he is, Lechner, going to Get it back out to Lazowitz, and Exeter going to space it out here.
So correction on my part. I thought that Kerry Whitten had called a push, but apparently it was something else, trip or slash, because it's a minute penalty. So
yeah, Garrity is still in the box.
Yeah.
Exeter still shorthanded. Lazowitz looking for a shorty there. Comes in with some speed. That one grazed the crossbar?
I think it did. But
Either Waldron got a piece or that one hit the bar. Either way, it flew off the ricochet out of bounds. Exeter going to try again here as we approach 5 minutes to go, second quarter. Home team hoping to stretch the lead to 5 for the first time. Garrity is still in the box, down on his left knee.
Well, we missed something there, or did not see a lock.
If it was locked because it was up above the shoulder area, or
yeah, we'll get clarification at halftime on that. Maybe it was a cross check and it was locked, and you can't release a lock penalty until a stoppage in play. So.
All right, we're back to even strength now.
Okay, well,
with 4.5 to go.
Now I'm really confused.
Lazowitz going to spin.
Oh,
going to wave it off.
Nope.
It's an offensive violation there as he tried to push off with that left arm. It looked like.
Yes, he did.
Too bad because it was a pretty good shot.
Yeah, it was a great shot.
Londonderry catches a break. It remains a 4-goal game. A little bit of a breeze here picking up. Sun continuing to set. We approach the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour here on the East Coast. Risley, co-captain, gets it up to Pedicula. Looks for a step on the defender. Gets jammed up from behind, and now it's a pig pile.
Push.
Pedicula goes down, and we hear a whistle. Push against Exeter. It'll stay here with Londonderry. Inside of 4 minutes to go until halftime. Coming up at halftime, a look back at the action in the first half. Full recap, stats, highlights, and an out-of-town scoreboard as well. Two of the big heavyweights in Division I meeting earlier this afternoon. And a long rivalry resumed. Pinkerton and BG will have that score update coming up at halftime. Meanwhile, Londonderry going to put a little pressure here. They're going to cool it out behind the cage with Pedicula. Goal line extended far side. It's Pedrick. He's got one of the two for Londonderry in this first half. Pedrick going to swoop around near side.
Ooh.
Trying to avoid Smith. Second defender is Herring, and that forces the errant pass. Taken on the bounce by Tapman. Now a 3-on-3 the other way. The senior going to zigzag near side, and now a timeout is going to be called by Coach Brewster.
Good timeout. Good timeout there.
Exeter will use their first. It comes with just over 3 minutes to go in this second quarter. Nothing really developing there in transition, so Coach said let's use a timeout here.
Yeah, and I'm okay with using that timeout. You can't take them with you. It's late in the second quarter, and you got Tapman with the ball, and he's getting pursued. It doesn't look like Tapman's really comfortable in his left hand because he was cradling across his body in his right hand to protect the ball. The kid's just coming off of an injury too, so let's slow things down a little bit. But you could also see Londonderry had things going in that possession. They had a nice, slow, methodical possession, held the ball, started to rotate on the threes at the corner of the top of the box, and then they throw it away. And that's, I think, has been the key to what has plagued them all season long from what I've seen and from what I've heard. And it's been just a skill level.
Well, sure. But you got to credit this Exeter defense to a degree as well for really forcing the issue. They haven't been afraid to get out and challenge, right, along the perimeter and make it tough, so to speak, on Londonderry.
Agreed. The first part of that possession, there was a nice double that Londonderry worked out of, and then there was a push against Exeter.
Right.
But you got to, at Division I level, you got to expect that you're going to see pressure from Division I defenders. I mean, whether they're in zone or man, you've got to figure that you're going to see that kind of pressure. So again, protect the ball, keep it out of the opponent's stick.
Here's Sullivan out of the timeout. Let's see what Coach Brewster may have drawn up. We are now inside of 3 minutes to go until halftime. Lechner up top, back for Albert. Little pop there. Shot won't get through. Went off the body of one of the defenders. May have been John Padels. Now loose. Albert with the scoop. Going to keep it here for Exeter.
I like that play and that rotation by the Blue Hawks, though. They had opportunities to shoot at any point in that passing scheme.
Lazowitz, one-on-one against Risley. The long pole senior going to steer him back towards the wing, and now up top is Albert to his left. Slide comes. Nothing working, so it's Delory to take over. Delory going to drop that left shoulder into the defender Robbins. Lechner rifles a pass behind the cage. Sullivan near side. Back to the cage. Pass deflected. And picked up inbounds. Sullivan trying to stay inbounds. Had to kind of blindly throw it behind the back, and then Waldron takes it away out of the cage for Londonderry.
Wow, I thought he was out of bounds. I thought he played the ball out of bounds.
Londonderry gets the stop they want. Clock now inside of 2 minutes. Lancers had trouble at this end. Just 2 goals, 1 in each quarter. Pedicula and Pedrick. Exeter defenses look good, hoping to preserve this 4-goal lead. As we approach now 95 seconds remaining.
Yeah, you can see a little bit more pressure coming outside the box. This is what BG does. Some of the better defending teams do. Have no fear of getting beat outside the box.
All the members of the Exeter Youth Lacrosse, would you meet at the gate towards the main entrance?
Lancers patient here, McPhail.
Exeter Youth members,
Melia.
go to the
Try it now, goal line extended.
at the main entrance.
Pedrick wants a one-on-one. Big defender on him, goes over the shoulder across the zone. It's backed up on the weak side by Pedicula. He's going to try it now near side. Picked up on the switch by Ian O'Kane, the big senior defender. One of the many seniors honored before the game here on Senior Day. Final 45 seconds.
Could have been a Ward there.
That's what the Exeter bench was lobbying for, but no call against Liam Knight, the sophomore. And now Pedicula trying to spin away from O'Kane. O'Kane quick on his feet. Stays right with him.
I'd call a timeout here.
Final 25 seconds now. Melia picked up by Garrity, the pole on the switch. And now near side it is Knight's turn. And nowhere to go against Sullivan. Behind the cage, down to 10 seconds. Pedicula. Back for Knight, looks for a screen. Fakes left, steps right, nowhere to go. Lazowitz right with him. Final 3 seconds. Shot, desperation time, goes through the zone, out of bounds, and that will do it for the first half. We had a high-scoring affair back on opening day. It was a 17-11 shootout in favor of Exeter. Halfway home here in the rematch, and it's got more of a defensive feel to it. 6-2 Exeter at halftime.
Yeah, definitely, and not a huge surprise where we're at. That first game that you just mentioned, the 17-11 game, I remember when we saw that score, we were broadcasting somewhere that night, and we were like, oh my gosh, wow, 11 goals. Here we are. I think Londonderry should have called time out there. Play for last shot at about 30-second mark. They had possession. Would have been nice feeling to go into the locker room, putting it at a 6-3 game. But there we go.
Exeter built up their lead back in the first quarter, 4 unanswered to end the frame. Each team exchanges a goal in that second quarter, and that's where we are, 6-2 at halftime. Busy afternoon. We're going to get to that scoreboard in just a moment. Roger's going to tally up the stats, and we're going to get down to business in just a few minutes here with our halftime report. 6-2 Exeter midway through. Right back to the Seacoast in just a moment. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471 888-848-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com. The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.NHTomahawks.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
At Dead River Company, the work we do is about more than just filling up tanks. It's about the everyday moments in your home. We're here to fix your heating equipment, so you have heat and hot water for moments like this. We brave the elements, so you're always safe and warm. Anytime, day or night. Because it's moments like this that we do everything we do.
Dead River Company, it's not your job to worry about the heat. It's ours.
Become a customer today, and we'll be there for the moments that matter to you.
Halftime here in Exeter. The Blue Hawks out in front of Londonderry 6-2 here in our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. Londonderry came in looking for their fourth straight win, a chance to improve to 8-6 overall. Exeter hoping for 2 straight and a chance to win 4 of their last 5. This one got underway, well, in big favor of Exeter early. They score less than a minute in. Senior Gavin Lechner on senior day lights the lamp 53 seconds into the contest to make it 1-0. Londonderry, a few minutes later, came back with the answer as Lancer senior Benjamin Pedicula tied the game at 1, and then Exeter scored 4 in a row. Lechner second, made it 2-1. Gabe Albert made it 3-1, and then the former goaltender Ryan Tapman, now a member of this Blue Hawk attack, scores twice down the stretch at the end of the first quarter to make it 5-1 after 1. Lancers make it 5-2. Less than 2 minutes into the second quarter, Nathan Pedrick. And then about midway through, Marshall Lazowitz able to get his lone goal of that first half. So that's where we are, Roger. 6-2 Exeter as we get set for the third quarter.
Yeah, and in looking at the stat sheet from the first half, it was interesting to note that Gavin Lechner was really out of the picture offensively in that second quarter. I don't think he had more than maybe 2 or 3 touches, but it was clear to me that Coach Brewster is trying to work a little bit different offense, and maybe you don't want to show your hand on film, especially with them knowing we're broadcasting this game, okay, and show all your new stuff going into the playoffs. But clearly they're working the ball to different areas and trying to take the heat off of Gavin at this point. Whether that's saving him and keeping him away from injuries, I don't think that would be the case. But you've got Tapman scoring 2 goals and Lechner scoring 2, and then the other 2 goals come from the first-line midfield in the absence of Owen Williams. So they're working it a little bit differently, and they're finding their opportunities. I would really like to see Londonderry just pick it up a notch, get a little bit more energy, and start moving a little bit more offensively.
Londonderry, they fell in rather lopsided fashion a week ago against Pinkerton. Since then, 3 straight wins over Salem, Manchester, and most recently an upset victory over 2-time defending Division II champion Portsmouth, 8-5 back on Monday. Underway here in the third quarter, and it starts with a bang as the Exeter Fogo goes flying. Will McIlroy ended up on his back, but his team ends up with the ball. So it's all worth it in the end for the young Blue Hawk, and now Exeter a chance to carve out their largest lead so far, trying to go up 5 for the first time to begin this second half.
And I was just about to say on the faceoffs, it was surprising to see that Londonderry won the first half 7-3. And Exeter didn't win a faceoff in that second quarter. Not that there were a ton of them, but they come out here and they win that first faceoff, which is important.
There's a shot, tough angle. Won't work for Sullivan.
And the thing about it is that in talking to Coach Wiedenfeld about the Portsmouth game, going up against Nick Smith, who is probably, right there in the top 3 in the state in faceoffs, we know what he can do. They neutralized him. Dave Wiedenfeld said that he had his way with us in the first half, but they double and triple poled the faceoff, which you don't see a lot of triple polling, but it was effective and they took the ball away from him.
Sullivan going to muscle his way to the cage and finish. Meanwhile, Waldron, the goaltender, took a pretty good thump at the tail end of that play. A little slow to get up, but the sophomore is okay. Meanwhile, Sullivan lights the lamp for the first time and extends the lead to 5 for the first time. Now it's 7-2.
Now we saw Colby take a good thumping in that Pinkerton game a little while ago, where the midfielder from the Astros, Morrison, I think ended up separating his shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. But he fell on on Colby, and Colby was slow getting up too. He's taking a beating.
Meanwhile, this one's still up for grabs until we hear the whistle. And they're going to give it to Exeter. Blue Hawks trying to keep the momentum going following the goal. And following the lengthy scrap there for the ground ball, they're rewarded with possession. Nice. Tried the tic-tac-toe back door, but Tapman couldn't quite get into position to reel that one in, and it's given back to Londonderry. Risley going to hit the brake and now hit the gas. The senior makes a man miss at midfield.
Offsides. They missed it.
No call as McPhail continues to play on for Londonderry. And now Robbins will take over. Was that aggressive defense we saw from Exeter in that first half? As you said, Roger, not afraid to go outside the box.
Nope.
It's a flag here down, just on the outside of the 30-yard line on that far sideline. So a penalty on the way against Exeter. We only saw one in the first half, which also went against the Blue Hawks.
Yeah, and I did get a clarification from the officials half on that. It was a cross-check. We didn't see that because we were up here and there was a pig pile when that happened, but it was a locked 2-minute penalty, thus Garrity sat until that was
Makes sense.
released.
It was something hit-related,
Yeah.
as we knew. Meanwhile, this one is 30 seconds. Exeter going to go short-handed for the second time as Nick Sullivan drops his right knee in the box, looking to explain himself to Coach Brewster. Lancers trying to take advantage. McPhail, near side. Pedrick examining his options, going to come back middle. Leaves it on the weak side. Final 10 seconds of the penalty. McPhail changes planes, gets denied high. Burnich, a good read, a good outlet pass, and now Garrity, a good weaving move at midfield as the pole gets the clear. Albert going to take over and now drop back to Lazowitz. Exeter going to cruise into attack mode here with 3 minutes gone by, third quarter, a chance to go up 6 for the first time.
Nice and programmed here, I guess. Just kind of get into it.
Good play. Delory looking middle for Tapman. Couldn't reel it in front of the cage. And now it's still loose in the crease. Whistle.
I have a flag.
Well, we do have a flag. You're right. It's back near midfield.
Another cross check.
And it will be a cross check.
1 minute. Cross check. 2.
So it's the first against Londonderry.
It's going to be against
The youngster, Braithwaite.
Yeah.
Anthony, the freshman. Going to take a seat just in front of Coach Wiedenfeld. It's the first Londonderry penalty of the game. So a minute. Extra man opportunity here for Exeter. Chomping at the bit to make this a 6-goal difference. Going to work it around here to begin the EMO. And now they get Lechner one-on-one with Brutus. Back up top for Albert. Little jab step. Lazowitz. Going to rifle it around Delory. They'll try it behind the cage. Sullivan. Back to Delory, far wing. Londonderry defense talking. Halfway through the penalty. Blue Hawks still trying to find the shot here. It'll be Albert near side.
There it is. Ooh.
Back door broken up on the pass. Heward got a piece. Loose. And finally, it's taken off the carpet by Londonderry's Heward. Good play.
Ooh.
Long pass up the field. Collision. And Pedicula is shaken up. The Lancer senior landed hard on his back there, colliding with the bigger Exeter defender, Ian O'Kane. And you can see Pedicula walking with a bit of a limp right in front of our cameraman, Matt Beals. Going to show some toughness here. Londonderry is going to run off the remainder of the penalty, so we're back to even strength now with 4.5 gone by third quarter. Blue Hawks on the defensive end looking to protect this 7-2 lead. Meanwhile, here at Bill Ball Stadium, temperature has dropped a little bit. It's just about sundown, still a steady breeze. It was gorgeous at game time, but now a little chill in the air as we work our way towards the midway point third quarter.
Another screen.
This will give it back to Exeter. And Coach Wiedenfeld shaking his head along the Londonderry sideline. Well, this pass is off target for Garrity. Braithwaite's going to make a play on it. Actually got a pull on the ball, but couldn't reel it in. Albert now going to take over for Exeter. We get a whistle, and we have another turnover.
Yeah, I think it was a failure to advance and get the touch.
Good defense by the Lancers to get the ball back. Trying to clear it here against this ride, another story. Waldron going to flick it out of the stick far side, and the pass for Melia is off target, low and behind him. That allows Exeter to scoop it up on the run. Caracciolo gets to it. Now Lechner going to put the shoulder down, back trot, and restart the attack here as we hit the midway point, third quarter.
Just another lackadaisical approach to the ball there by Londonderry. The attackman, Heward, didn't even really try to stretch and get that ball and contend for it. And
just Lazowitz going to fire that one. He scored his lone goal in that first half from a similar distance. That time, no problem for Waldron. Londonderry, over the shoulder shot for Heward. Was out of play. Burnich goes out of the cage to win the foot race for Exeter.
He's going to get shit.
Well, good job by the Lancers, I guess, to get it up the field that quickly and produce a shot out in front, but tough one there over the shoulder.
And they need possessions as well as goals. I guess you can get away with that when you're this, with a lot of time left in the game, I guess. I would have liked to have seen them set up and try and get something.
Lechner backdoor, trying to find Tapman, but again, the ball gets through everybody out of bounds.
It's got to be the fourth or fifth time they've tried to hit the crease
door?
player. Yeah, and the ball's gone out of bounds.
Lechner, a couple of assists in that first half on similar type plays. That pass that somehow, some way gets through the defense, but not to be on that one. Meanwhile, Risley off the bounce, straight ahead. And another nice job on the clear by Londonderry. John Padel's involved there. Meanwhile, this one is a foot race. Heward can't get to it. Another errant pass is going to give it back to the Blue Hawks.
Yes.
Just outside of 5 minutes remaining, third quarter.
You know, we talk about this here we go, another one. Going to go out of bounds.
Lazowitz left his feet to reel that one in, but could not. And again, it's back to Londonderry.
So back to that play towards the crease. When a defense is giving you those opportunities and you're still missing the pass, it's just not coincidental that Londonderry is sliding early and leaving the middle open.
Pedrick.
Nice, good play.
Wraparound shot denied by Burnich. And then the ground ball is scooped up by Pedicula. Or is that Pedrick again? No, it's Pedrick. Able to, in the end, corral his own miss. Creates another opportunity for the Lancers. Londonderry looking for their first goal since early in the second quarter as we head towards the 4-minute mark here in the third. This Exeter defense has been as good as advertised, at least so far.
Give Pedrick credit on that last play when he had the touch. He was getting doubled, and he didn't try to force it. You could see that he wanted to, but the wiser move was to pull out and retain possession.
Pedrick getting hacked at from all directions. Somehow maintains possession. Got Albert breathing down his neck. To find some space and now reset it.
Good defense by the Blue Hawks.
Yeah.
Really good defense.
Robbins recovers. Well, again, this is a 1-1 game about midway through the first quarter. Exeter put together the game's largest run at that point, 4 unanswered. Led 5-1 after one. Low-scoring affair in the second quarter, a goal each way. The result 6-2 Exeter at halftime.
Yeah, got to throw it there.
Nick Sullivan scored earlier to make it 7-2 here. Just a couple of minutes into this third quarter, but nothing since. Meanwhile,
we got two
the penalties starting to add up here. Exeter committed 2 earlier to Londonderry's 1. Get a 30-second hold here against the Blue Hawks.
And a
push against Lazowitz. So both Lazowitz and Albert
found guilty of minor infractions. 2 30s on the board here with 3:17 to go third quarter.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, Exeter should be thankful that they got 2 technicals there, because clearly Marshall Lazowitz had his stick up under the helmet on a cross check, and they only called the push. So
Londonderry for their first 2 EMOs. Trying to get the right touch here on the third try. As they say, third try is sometimes the charm. Halfway through this penalty, still no shot. They'll go across the zone. Pedrick lets it rip. That one wide. Burnich out of the cage. Heward not quite in position behind the net, and Exeter will force a giveaway.
That's literally inexcusable when you're 2 men up to not have a backup and not try to get that ball back on every possession when you get the ball. Just, wow.
Here's the trail man. Shot there, a bouncing attempt from Sean DeLello. Didn't quite come out correctly, and Londonderry going to go the other way. Heward, extra pass, and that's a beautiful shot for the score there by Pedrick. Does it kind of below the hip there on the release. Came out with some smoke, and it's now 7-3.
Yeah.
Lancer goal, number 2, Nathan Pedrick.
So Londonderry pushing the issue there in transition. They get it done.
Yeah, that's
technically part of the EMO, right? The penalty did not expire, although it was down to the tail end. So that's what the Lancers were hoping for. Pedrick gets his second. And they're back within shouting distance. It's 7-3 here with just over 2 minutes to go in this third quarter.
No.
Wow, shot on the run. That was the long pole for Londonderry, Logan Heward. And then again, another good hustle play exhibited there by Exeter's Harry Caracciola. And those 50-50 balls, Roger, starting to go Exeter's way here in the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, they want it. They're hustling, like you said. They're where there's no backup at all with Londonderry in most cases here in the last few possessions. They're hungry to get to that end line and get the ball back. I wonder when Londonderry's going to pick up on the clear by the Blue Hawks that number 21 is going to be parked in the middle of the box on the clear. That's Jack Herring. That's got to be his 4th or 5th clear, tonight. And they're just not covering it, making it easy for Exeter.
Coming up in the final minute, third quarter, Exeter trying to rebuild the 5-goal lead. Lechner, not sure if that was a shot or if the ball kind of floated out of his stick. Either way, it ends up with Waldron.
Yeah, I think he wanted the shot, and I think Brutus was right there giving him equal pressure. So, good for Cam.
Well, Risley trying to outfox Sullivan. Does have the inside edge now along the sideline, but the pass too hot to handle. Scooped up on the turf by Smith for Exeter. Then his pass intended for Lazowitz is high, and it's McPhail the other way for Londonderry. Up the field for Pedrick. Trying to get away from Caracciola. Got chopped down on the pass attempt, and the ball loose. Poked ahead here by Smith. And we're down to 20 seconds. Exeter wants one more. Lazowitz off the deflection. Going to come downhill here with 10 seconds. McPhail trying to close the gap. Shot. Jammed up. Waldron with it. Rainbow outlet pass. Connected with Braithwaite on the bounce. Up ahead for Robbins. The deep offering is off target, and that'll do it for the third quarter. Again, the two teams exchange goals. Nick Sullivan early, Nate Pedrick late for Londonderry to keep it within 4. 7-3 after 3. Fourth quarter next. Exeter looking for the wire-to-wire win. Londonderry hoping for a comeback to keep their win streak alive. Which will it be? We find out next. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Start of the fourth quarter here in Exeter. The Blue Hawks on Senior Day. Out in front of Londonderry 7-3. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. It's our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week. Presented by Beals Insurance. Exeter looking for a fourth win in their last 5 games. Londonderry hoping for a comeback here to preserve their 4th win in a row as we enter the final week of the regular season next week. These two teams with an eye on the standings, of course, as well. Shot there, denied by Waldron on the bounce. Sophomore making another save for Londonderry. He's played well. On the clear, this is Aiden White, the junior. And now Londonderry going to settle in here on the attack, hoping to make this a 3-goal game again for the first time since the first quarter. Exeter built their lead in that opening frame, broke open a 1-1 tie with 4 unanswered. It was 5-1 after 1. And as we mentioned, more of a defensive tone since, a goal each way in both the second and third quarters, and that's where we are, 7-3, with now a minute gone by in this fourth quarter. It's also starting to get dark here on the Seacoast. The lights are on and fully operational and becoming more and more necessary. A lot of talk here from this Blue Hawk defense. They've been good. Of course, this is a program seeking its 3rd straight Division I championship appearance. And they've been engaged, really, Roger, since the get-go.
Yeah, and the defense is a little bit sloppy on the clearing passes, but they have been pretty tight defensively and very aggressive. And, except for a couple of midfield penalties there, they've been pretty clean. You know, Garrity's the only one that has a penalty on the defense. The other ones were on offensive players.
As you predicted, Roger, in the pregame, both goaltenders have had a big impact each way to keep their teams competitive, at least so far through 3 quarters.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, the stats are showing that they're evenly matched. I think the way my score sheet looks, Burnich is up 1 on Colby. Londonderry really isn't coming up with some test shots against Burnich. Look at that. That's great form. Great form.
Makes the save to his left on the bouncing attempt from Lazowitz. And then the outlet out of his stick quickly as well. Lancers the other way here with now 2 minutes gone by, fourth quarter. Exeter has never trailed. And, of course, the Blue Hawks going for the season series sweep after these two teams met on opening night back on April the 11th. That was a 17-11 shootout win for Exeter. Meanwhile, McPhail, downhill, swooping shot, won't get through a crowd. Backed up by Heward, and that shot will beat the goaltender. A somersault afterwards for good measure, the tri-captain able to light the lamp for the first time, and Londonderry crawling back here within 3. It's 7-4.
Yeah, I'll give him that. Burnich looked like he got a kick save on that first shot, and then Heward gets the rebound. So, little sign of life here in the blue.
2 straight for the Lancers, dating back to the 2-minute mark remaining third quarter. They strike with 2.5 gone by here in the fourth. So Londonderry showing the willingness to fight here on the road, as this one is still loose off the face-off before finally it's scooped up by Exeter's Nick Sullivan in front of the Lancer sideline.
So Sullivan had a game against Bedford. He actually scored the go-ahead goal that was the eventual game winner the other night in a classic Sullivan style, which he had done a couple of times this year. Ooh.
Pass taken in a crowd by Tapman, who's knocked down on the shovel release. Save made on the doorstep by Waldron. And now Exeter will restart here off after the whistle.
Yeah. Watch Sullivan. He's big and lanky, and he can stretch over goal line extended.
Lechner
Here it is.
Across the zone. Jammed up, though, on the release was Sullivan.
Hit a body.
Ball goes skyward. Delory able to pluck it for Exeter. And now Lazowitz trying to chase it down on the far wing. A lot of contact there out in front of the cage. Exeter able to survive with possession. Nearly 4 minutes in fourth quarter. Albert up top, not happening. Waldron, another save over the shoulder for Londonderry. The sophomore starting to heat up between the pipes.
Yeah, Walden is definitely in a zone right now. You get a couple of saves on this team or any team of that quality, and here, except for that.
Now the outlet again, not quite on target, intended for Pedicula. Goes out of bounds back to the Blue Hawks.
I wish we could see that again. I think that was a catchable ball, although it wasn't perfect. But yeah, Colby, he's dialed in right now.
Meanwhile, his counterpart, Burnich, way out of the cage here on the clear. Helped out by Smith, and now it's Albert, the midfielder. Intercepted. Taken away by McPhail. The spin move and a timeout, Londonderry. It'll be the first either way here in the second half as the Lancers want to ensure the possession and talk it over with 4.5 gone by fourth quarter. Our broadcast tonight brought to you by Beals Insurance. Locations in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Visit BealsInsurance.com. Also by MG Sports Fundraising. That's fundraising made easy. MG Sports Fundraising, the official fundraising partner of Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. Visit MGSportsFundraising.com. Start raising money for your team today. By New Hampshire iPhone Repair. It's done while you wait. It's backed by their lifetime warranty. Now it's 6 locations in southern New Hampshire and on the Seacoast. Visit NHiPhoneRepair.com. By the New Hampshire Tomahawk. Showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NHTomahawks.com and also girls.NHTomahawks.com. By Spectrum Monthly. Powerful local advertising solutions. Find out more at SpectrumMonthly.com. And finally, by Roger Howe Real Estate, part of the Bean Group. Call 603-247-1583 or email Roger at rhowerealestate.com. Nick and Astis with Roger Howe. It's our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week presented by Beals Insurance. Exeter, they've never trailed tonight. Londonderry, though, after trailing by 5, scored the last 2. And a chance to make it a 2-goal game, perhaps, if they can score here as we creep towards the midway point of this fourth quarter.
And here's a final score for you D2 folks. Timberlane beats Kennett on their senior night, 16-5.
There you go. That's part of a plethora of scores that we will get to, I promise, this time. I sometimes pretend like I'm going to give the scores at halftime. But I will, for sure, give them as part of our post-game coverage. Meanwhile, a big collision, and the big fella trying to waddle his way out of a crowd for Exeter. O'Kane finally slowed down, tripped up, ball out. McPhail now has it for Londonderry. Lancers, though, don't quite have the numbers, going to pull it back out.
Yeah, but they had 2 defenders way behind the play, and they should have pushed it. Because they did have a far side attackman that they could have gone to there. They had Exeter right where they wanted them defensively.
McPhail. Well, that's Pedrick shot there. Turned away, and then again, Burnich going to win the battle out of the cage. We've seen that maybe a handful of times at this point tonight.
Yeah.
Good awareness by the junior. He's going to thread the outlet pass on the money for DeLillo. And Exeter's going to go the other way, still with a 3-goal lead on the board. Meanwhile, Lechner, backdoor, pass broken up near side. And now a pile of bodies near the cage. Waldron does get to it for Londonderry. Brutus up the field trying to find Heward. Instead, it's Pedicula. Step down shot, sails over the crossbar. And Burnich again out of the cage to win the race.
Wow. You got to recognize what's going on the field. When you've got the ball on possession and you are fast breaking it, what we call even a slow break in this particular case, you got no backup. You got no backup. Don't throw the ball away when you're down by 3 goals.
Meanwhile, Albert going to clear it.
Yeah, Padicula looks a little upset with himself, perhaps, at midfield.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Coach
It's a fine line to walk, though, right, Roger? If you got the shot, you want it, but you got to make sure your teammates are in the right spot as well.
If you're 5 yards out, yes. When you're 12-10, no. Not against Burnich. And you've got no backup.
Meanwhile, Lechner trying to swim through 3 defenders. Spins behind the cage but lost the ball. And again, Lazowitz able to pluck it out of a crowd for Londonderry. Padicula head down on the clear. Gets the step on the defender, draws a slide, pass taken. Near side shot off. Looked like the near pole. Going to fly out of bounds and stay with Londonderry. We're now inside of 5 minutes to go in regulation.
Now, there was a nice, quick possession to get a shot off.
There's a shot on the somersault by Padicula. He scored the first goal of the game for Londonderry and has played well. The exception maybe of that questionable shot a moment ago. He's been one of the more active, productive players for Londonderry tonight.
Yeah, he has. I mean, the guys that are out there are fighting hard now.
2-man game.
There we go.
It's going to free up Pedrick. He's going to score that one. No second slide, and Londonderry is going to capitalize in their 3rd straight. I think it's 7-5.
Lancer goal.
And well, if you thought this one was in the bag, think again. So Lancers, they've got the momentum right now here, still with 4:42 remaining in this 4th quarter.
Yeah, and I was just thinking to myself, Londonderry they're like a bulldog, man. They just hang in there, and they are scrapping. You know, they're not sharp tonight. Neither team is, quite frankly, that sharp tonight, but darned if they're only 2 goals behind here, and they still got a little under 5 minutes to make up those 2. So, and they get possession here after that.
They've had the advantage at the X. They win a key face-off there, and now can cut the lead in half. They've trailed the entire afternoon by as many as 5. Nathan Pedrick has led the way as the game's highest goal scorer with 3. The hat trick coming a moment ago. Clock ticking down to 4 minutes. Padicula gets the step, goal line extended, going to go behind the cage, comes back near side for Heward. Quick catch and fire. Tough angle shot, gets through the zone, backed up on the far wing. On the ground ball by the Lancers' Pedrick. And now near side, McPhail. 1-on-1. Trying to get away from the long pole. Good job by Caricchiola, staying with him. He'll try it on the other side now. Pedrick. 2-man game with Robbins, picked up by Lazowitz on the switch. Near side now, McPhail. Goal line extended near side. Still nothing going. Exeter giving Padicula a little bit of breathing room. Up top, Melia tests the waters. Back over to Pedrick. Wants something downhill.
He's got a man. There
Back
it is.
Door shot won't work. Heward from a very tough angle there. Got a piece, it looked like, of the side of the cage. Ball goes out of play on the near side and is given back to the Lancers here with 3:18 to go.
Wow, that was right in his wheelhouse, and he had Burnich dead to rights and just missed the net.
Patient possession.
Good check.
Did produce the shot in the end they wanted, but Burnich has been usually on the spot more often than not, and that time he was locked in. Inside of 3 minutes, Lancers fighting a 2-front war at this point. Exeter and the clock. On his way to the ground, McPhail releases. That one slices across the zone out in front of Burnich, ends up out of play again near sideline. And Padicula gets set for the restart. One-on-one, got the step on O'Kane.
Oh.
Shot, won't get through. Backed up by Melia, then saved by Burnich. Big collision as Padicula hit the ground. Outlet pass too strong. Ends up with Brutus on the ground ball. Long pole going to cross the 50. 2.5 to go. Back door pass tipped up in the air by Pedrick. Looks like was in and out of the head of his stick, and then Burnich ultimately comes down with it for Exeter. Big stop there for the Blue Hawks. Now Lazowitz on the clear. Split dodge. Took a shot there from Pedrick. The linebacker able to lay him out, but in the end, Lazowitz regains possession somehow, and Exeter does clear it. And that's a big play for the home team. Meanwhile, throwing the right shoulder is Andrew Hanna, who hasn't played much. He's out there now. He secures the Exeter possession.
And Coach Brewster puts it in cement by calling a timeout here with inside of 2 minutes remaining. Exeter with the ball, clinging to this 7-5 lead. And that one, a big series of events there that favors the home team.
Yeah, you almost have to take this timeout right now. We saw this in the Portsmouth-Derryfield game, a little bit different situation where there was a penalty involved on the Derryfield side. But at this point in the game, when you've got 2 timeouts and you're only up by 2, it's a game of clock management right now and ball possession. And whether or not you get a score out of this, that's a bonus, I think. But you got to come out of here with a win. You can't afford to lose the ball here and give them a transition opportunity, which I got to give Londonderry credit. I can hear through my headphones, I can hear Coach Wiedenfeld barking out commands and saying, get there, and move. And so they're finally getting that message, because I am seeing the pace of the blue start to pick up quite a bit.
Absolutely. I think it's night and day different from what we saw in the first half.
Yeah, the first 3 quarters.
Yeah. It's been a fourth quarter that has favored the Lancers. They've scored 3 straight, 2 of those coming in this frame. However, they're just about out of time here. Trailing still by 2 with inside of 2 minutes to go. $1:56 remaining. Reminder, coming up after the game, stats, highlights, analysis, and this time I promise the out-of-town scoreboard, which includes a couple of heavyweights meeting earlier today in Division I with BG and Pinkerton.
That's the second tease you've done.
Exeter just looking to run clock here at this point. They've got Sullivan behind the cage. He's going to make his move now. Shot high, denied. Flag flies. As Waldron does come up with the save, we get a whistle. And I think we got a penalty here coming against Londonderry.
Get a hold. Slash on number 9.
Yeah, so Hewitt will hit the box, and it means Exeter, their life just became a little easier here as they look to kill the clock. With 1:38 on the game clock, there's a minute now on the penalty clock as well. So Londonderry really in a tough spot now.
Yeah, I don't know who 9 is.
Backdoor, low pass. I thought that was headed for the out-of-bounds line, but Sullivan, pretty good play there between the ankles to pull that one in. Now he's got it behind the cage. We're down to 1:20 to go. Little game of keep away. Tyler Bland. Lazowitz, step down shot off the metal pole.
Wow.
It's going to rattle all the way to the far side out of bounds.
That was a rocket.
I'd say. Seen a couple of those tonight.
Yes, we have.
A couple of bell ringers. And again, Exeter wins the key foot race to keep it here as we're down to now just 1 minute remaining. Another shot, Lazowitz this time finds the touch. Money, as you say, is right. How about from 17 yards out? Sophomore second makes it 8-5, and that may just about be the nail here with a minute to go.
Yeah, and we're going to give good old Marshall an EMO goal there. And he didn't miss the second time, Nick.
All right. 8-5. Now the score with 1 minute even remaining. Saw the Lancers capitalize on an EMO earlier. 1 for 3. Exeter tonight now officially 1 for 2. Final 45 seconds.
Yep, another time.
And a delay here against Exeter.
Okay.
Londonderry may have caught a break. Trying to make the most of it with a long outlet pass for Brutus. The athletic junior pole. Stopped by Garrity. Forced to get it up. Heward going to backtrack now. And now Londonderry's down to just 30 seconds. Pedicula trying to go downhill against Smith. Gets the step.
Oh!
Shot and score. Went right to the cage and beat Burnich with kind of a sneaky release there on that weak side. To now make it an 8-6 game. Londonderry still breathing.
And I was screaming for a timeout here, but, with a goal,
It's Pedrick's fourth, by the way.
Yeah, that's number 2, yeah.
I thought it was Pedicula. It was Pedrick.
But, kudos to Londonderry here.
Lancers will win another one at the X, but again, they're just about out of time. 15 seconds remaining. Looking for a quick one. Shot, jammed up. Smith, Johnny on the spot for Exeter on the denial. It's still loose. Smith trying to chop to it, and that'll do it. As Exeter is going to get to the final ground ball and run out the clock. Blue Hawks on senior day going to win it 8-6 as they fend off Londonderry in the fourth quarter. It's the 10th win of the season for Coach Brewster's Blue Hawks as they improve now to 10-5 on the year. Londonderry, they see their 3-game win streak come to an end and drop back down to 500 at 7-7.
Yeah, a couple comments here real quick. Gavin Lechner, not on the score sheet from the first quarter on. That's a surprise. And if Londonderry had played the entire game the way they played it in the fourth quarter, we might have had a different result tonight.
All right, coming up, full recap, stats, highlights, analysis, out-of-town scoreboard, all the good stuff on the other side of the break. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com. The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.NHTomahawks.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
At Dead River Company, the work we do is about more than just filling up tanks. It's about the everyday moments in your home. We're here to fix your heating equipment, so you have heat and hot water for moments like this. We brave the elements, so you're always safe and warm. Anytime, day or night. Because it's moments like this that we do everything we do.
Dead River Company, it's not your job to worry about the heat. It's ours.
Become a customer today, and we'll be there for the moments that matter to you.
All right, 8-6 is the final. Exeter wins their 10th of the year. 4 of their last 5 have been wins, and are 2-0 on the week. Londonderry, meanwhile, they see their 3-game win streak come to an end and are now 7-7 on the season. Exeter got out to a good start. Gavin Lechner scored the game's first goal less than a minute in. They get 1-0 Blue Hawks. Londonderry's Benjamin Pedicula even the game a moment later. And that's when Exeter went on the game's longest run, 4 in a row, to close out the quarter. Lechner a second. Gabe Albert's lone goal made it 3-1. And then Ryan Tapman, the former goaltender, scores 2 for Exeter in the closing moments of that first quarter. 5-1 Exeter after 1. And then the game took a kind of defensive tone from that point on. Nathan Pedrick was really the consistent offensive option tonight for the Lancers. He scores his first of 4 in the first minute of that second quarter. 5-2 Exeter at that point. The Blue Hawks sophomore Marshall Lazowitz made it 6-2. And then the final 7:25 of the first half was scoreless. 6-2 was our halftime score in favor of the home team. Nick Sullivan stretched it to 7-2 with his lone goal. It's over a minute into that second half. And then that's when the Londonderry defense really stepped it up. They kept Exeter all the way off the board all the way until the final minute of the game. In between, they score 3 straight. Pedrick, Heward, Pedrick in that order. And then Lazowitz on an EMO kind of put this one out of reach. 8-5 at that point. The second for the sophomore was matched a moment later by the fourth from Pedrick. But Londonderry just about out of time at that point with 22 seconds to go. 8-6. And that ends up being the final score, as now Exeter has beaten Londonderry twice this season. When we look back, of course, on opening day and tonight. So Exeter, with a week to go in the regular season, still 3 games on the schedule. They're going to take on Melrose Saturday morning at 11 here in Exeter. Melrose, of course, out of state. And then next week, the final week, as I mentioned, of the regular season, they're at South before closing out the year here against Merrimack on the other side for Londonderry. Their final 2 games are next week, so they'll have the full weekend off before battling Salem at home and then a road date at Bedford. Roger, your thoughts?
My thoughts are I would have liked to have seen Londonderry play the entire game, as I mentioned at the end of the game, the way they played it in the fourth quarter. They were scrappy. They picked it up a pace. They were bulldogs after the ball on the ground. The face-offs, although my count looks a little off now, I got to go back and make a correction here. But for a team that, aside from Ty Parsons, number 10, really doesn't have a true Fogo and has kind of done face-offs by committee with long poles and other defending middies, they did very well tonight against McElroy. Going into the playoffs, Exeter's got to figure that out if they think they're going to be competing against the Pinkertons and the BGs of the world. Even Bedford. I mean, Roberto has really done very well throughout the season. So that was a big surprise. The other big surprise was, Gavin Lechner just not really being a part of the offense at all since the first quarter. I don't know whether that was part of the plan just to keep him healthy, possibly, but they certainly were looking to do less dodging from the attack with Sullivan and Lechner and look towards the middle to try and pick up a midi down low or the other attackman, Tatnall.
I thought both goaltenders played very well tonight.
Yeah.
Not sure what those final numbers looked like, but I'm sure they were similar. Waldron really stood on his head at times, kept Londonderry in the game, and then Burnich on the other side won several possessions for his team with some heads-up play on those 50-50 balls off the missed shots.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from the Exeter defense, including Burnich on getting the possession back on the defensive side after shots. But Londonderry was very lazy about that, too. They did not really pick up the pace until the fourth to be aggressive to get there, nor did they try to keep a good backup there offensively to retain possession either. And that's part of the off-ball coaching and awareness, lacrosse IQ that you need to have on your starting attack to make sure that you're getting the ball back and retaining possession.
All right, earlier today, Bishop Girton, the 2-time defending Division I champions, got another win. This time over longtime rival Pinkerton. 16-6 was that final. That game was earlier this afternoon. Unfortunately, a little too early for our crew to get over there. But we're going to see Bishop Girton coming up on Sunday when they take on BC High, a battle on the border between New Hampshire and Massachusetts. That game originally scheduled for 3 o'clock, rescheduled for 1 o'clock, Roger. So I'll see you a little earlier than I was planning, but that's okay.
That's all right.
We'll be on the air about 12:45 from Stello Stadium in Nashua against Sunday. A little special, weekend special, battle on the border, BC High at BG.
I got a quick score for you here through Joe Marshallina, our friend at New Hampshire High School Sports, and Brandon Brown. This must have been a very late start on the Seacoast. Clippers up 8-5 at the end of 1 over Alvern.
Okay.
Up-and-coming Alvern. It'll be interesting to
Portsmouth,
see where the Broncos end up in the playoffs here.
Yeah, Alvern's had a good year, and, of course, Portsmouth, they caught their first loss of the season back on Monday, looking to get back on the winning track. Speaking of Division II, Roger, Derryfield, no problem with Keene Monadnock earlier, 22-3. By the way, that Portsmouth-Alvern game started at 7:30. And a one-goal win for Wyndham in overtime over Goffstown, 8-7, a walk-off to win it for the Jaguars as they continue to parry for position in Division II. So some close ones, some blowouts, a little bit of everything on the out-of-town scoreboard. Roger, your final thoughts before we say goodbye.
Coming into the last week of the season, aside from the BC game that we're doing on Sunday, a lot can happen in those 5 days next week in terms of the standings, especially in Division II and Division I. Division III looks a little different, but it'll be an exciting week to see where we finally shake out and who we're going to be broadcasting for when those 3 games come up. So
we'll find out, I guess, next week when you tune in for FNL Lacrosse. It's Monday night, 6 o'clock. I believe Coach Cam will be back in studio. We'll break down the week, the final week of the regular season on the boys' side. Want to thank Bill Ball and his staff here at Exeter, my man Sherm Chester, for cooling out with me during the pregame, helping a little bit with the setup. Appreciate that. Of course, the sponsors tonight, Beals Insurance, MG Sports Fundraising, New Hampshire iPhone Repair, the New Hampshire Tomahawks, Roger Howe Real Estate, and Spectrum Monthly. Appreciate the ongoing support. For our extended family here at Friday Night Lights New Hampshire, that includes both Kristen and Matt Beals back in service tonight behind the lens. We appreciate them carving out some time for us tonight to bring you the visuals. Of course, executive producer Steve Beals was roaming the grounds here as well. And it was all put together by the man behind the curtain, the wizard of replay, Ben Beals, our director, back in the Beals Insurance Studios. For my partner, Roger Howe, my name is Nick Anastas saying so long. Final score, final time, Exeter 8, Londonderry 6. This has been a presentation of our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance.